Your parents told you something that was completely true. In 1985, they told you renting is throwing money away. But here's what they didn't tell you. When they bought their first home, it cost 3 times their annual salary. Right now, in 2026, that same home costs 8 times yours. The math they used doesn't exist anymore. And following their advice right now could be the single worst financial decision of your entire life. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, I'm going to show you the actual numbers, side by side, no spin. And the answer might genuinely shock you. First is, where did renting is throwing money away actually come from? Let me take you back to 1985. Your parents, or maybe your grandparents, are in their late 20s. The average U.S. home price is hovering around $420,000. The average household income is around $27,000. That's 3 to 1. 3 times your salary, and you own a piece of America. And here's the thing, they were right. Back then, buying made almost no sense not to do. Mortgage rates were high, sure, like 10 to 12%, but homes were affordable relative to income. Values climbed steadily, and you built equity fast. The renting is wasteful advice was genuinely born from lived experience that worked. Fast forward to 2026. The average U.S. home price is hovering around $420,000. Median household income? About $80,000. That's 5.25 times. And in cities? San Francisco, Austin, Miami, Denver, we're talking 8x, 10x, even 12x income. Home affordability right now is at its worst level since 1984. The math your parents used literally does not apply to the market you are living in today. But okay, maybe you're thinking, I still build equity though, right? Stay with me, because I'm about to run the actual 2026 numbers, and what I found genuinely surprised me. Second is buying versus renting. Same home, side by side, real numbers. All right, let's run the numbers. Same house, same city. I'm going to use a real median-priced home, $420,000 in a mid-tier U.S. city. Let's say Denver, Colorado. And I want you to screenshot this part, because most people get these numbers completely wrong. Screenshot. So right out of the gate, the renter is $880 a month ahead. That's $10,560 every single year. Now, I know what you're thinking, but you're building equity when you buy. And yes, you are. In year 1 on a 30-year fixed, you're putting about $540 a month toward principal. The rest, roughly $2,000 a month, goes to interest, taxes, and insurance, meaning the bank owns most of that money, not you. And here's where it gets really interesting. That $84,000 down payment sitting in a high-yield savings account right now at 4.8% earns you $4,032 a year in interest, completely passive. The moment you hand it to a bank as a down payment, that opportunity cost disappears overnight. But here's the part of homeownership nobody talks about, the costs that don't show up on the mortgage calculator. And when I added these up, I genuinely could not believe the number. Now, third is maintenance, taxes, insurance, PMI, the full picture. Here are the costs that never show up in any buy versus rent calculator your realtor shows you, and I promise they will change how you see this debate. Number 1, maintenance and repairs. Financial planners use what's called the 1% rule. Budget 1% of your home's value per year for upkeep. On a $420,000 home, that's $4,200 a year. Every single year. Your HVAC dies every 15 years, $8,000. Roof, $15,000 every 20 years. Water heater, $1,200 every 10 years. These are not what ifs, these are whens. Your landlord eats every single one of these costs. You don't. Number 2, property taxes. In most US states, that's 1 to 1.5% of home value annually. On $420K, you're paying $4,200 to $6,300 a year, a cost that goes up as your home appreciates. Fun, right? Number 3, PMI. If you put down less than 20%, you're paying private mortgage insurance, typically $150 to $400 a month, until you hit 20% equity. That is literally money that protects the bank, not you. Number 4, closing costs and transaction costs. Buying costs 2 to 5% upfront. Selling costs 5 to 6% in realtor fees alone. You need your home to appreciate at least 8 to 10% just to break even. In most markets, that takes 4 to 7 years. When you add it all up, mortgage, property tax, insurance, maintenance, opportunity cost, the true monthly cost of owning that $420,000 home is closer to $3,800 a month. Compare that to the $2,100 rent. The gap isn't $880, it's over $1,700 a month.
Point 4 is specific scenarios where renting wins, with data. Let me be really clear here. I am not saying buying a home is always wrong. What I'm saying is that the old blanket rule, renting is throwing money away, is a myth that needs to die. Here's when renting is genuinely the smarter financial move. Scenario 1. You're not staying for at least 5 to 7 years. Because of transaction costs and the mortgage amortization curve, where most of your early payments are pure interest, you need significant time to break even. If you're moving in under 5 years, the data is clear. Renting wins. Scenario 2. Your local price-to-rent ratio is above 20. Divide the home price by the annual rent. If that number is above 20, the market mathematically favors renting. In San Francisco right now, that ratio is above 40. Miami, 35. New York City, 32. These markets are signaling loud and clear. Scenario 3. You'd be stretching beyond 30% of your take-home pay. If that mortgage payment would take more than 30% of your monthly income, you're house poor. You own the home, but the home owns you. You can't invest, you can't save, you can't breathe. Scenario 4. You're in a market with flat or declining appreciation. Home values in parts of the Midwest and rural markets are growing at 1 to 2% a year. After inflation, that's a real return of basically zero, or negative. You're locking up $84,000 to earn nothing. Okay, but here's the most important question, and almost nobody asks it. If renting saves you $1,700 a month, where does that money go? Because this is where renters either win massively or lose everything. Now, second last point is invest the delta, the renter's wealth playbook. This is where renting becomes not just acceptable, but genuinely, mathematically powerful if you are intentional. Because here's the truth. Most people who rent don't invest the difference. They lifestyle inflate. They spend it. And then they're 45 with no equity and no investments. That's the actual trap, not renting itself. So here's the renter wealth playbook for 2026. Step 1. Open a high-yield savings account for your emergency fund and down payment savings. Right now, the best HYSAs are paying 4.5 to 5% APY. The $84,000 you're not putting into a down payment, park it here. That alone earns you roughly $400 a month doing nothing. Step 2. Max your tax-advantaged accounts first. Your 401k up to the employer match, that's an instant 50 to 100% return. Then your Roth IRA. This is building real compounding wealth that homeownership simply cannot match dollar for dollar in the short term. Now, let me show you what happens if a renter invests that $880 per month cash difference into a simple S&P 500 index fund for 30 years at a 7% average annual return. The disciplined renter who invests the difference comes out $420,000 ahead. This is not a debate. This is math. Finally, last is reframe everything. What is my total cost of shelter? So let me leave you with this, because I think we've been asking the wrong question for decades. The question isn't, should I rent or should I buy? The question is, what is my true total cost of shelter, and is that money working for me? Buying can be an incredible decision. If you're staying put for 7+ years in a market with a price-to-rent ratio under 20, with a payment under 30% of your income, with a 6-month emergency fund still in place, buying is still one of the most powerful wealth-building moves you can make. Stability, forced savings, leverage, generational wealth, it's real. But if your parents told you that renting is wasting money and you've been beating yourself up every month you write that rent check, stop. You're not failing.
you might actually be playing a smarter game. Shame is not a financial strategy. Math is. The worst outcome in 2026 isn't renting. It's buying a home you can't afford in a market that doesn't make sense because someone told you that's what adults do, and then having zero flexibility, zero investments, and zero cushion when life happens. And life always happens.
If this video changed how you see the rent versus buy debate, hit like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need to hear this math. And subscribe. I drop a new financial breakdown every week that your financial advisor doesn't want you to know about.